make impact fun, make making a difference joyful, make it a dance party, and we'll get more people doing it. Hello. Trying to explain what I'm trying to do has always been really difficult, despite being a marketer by career. Basically, when I look at the problems in the world, when I zoom out and try and do a macro view, I see some patterns around ownership and control being the biggest problems that we need to move the needle on. This whole thing where these tech giants, their only job is to make billionaires richer, like they're just so under the thumb of the shareholders in the open market. Their only job is to make billionaires richer. They don't have any priorities, any job around benefiting humanity or enabling the pursuit of happiness or creating equality of opportunity or anything like that. Their only job is to make the most powerful people in the world more powerful. And the billionaires only didn't exist 20 years ago. Like, this is a new world that we've unwittingly kind of walked ourselves into, and that's too much concentration of power in too few people. It's something that we can have much impact over while this situation is happening. And then because these tech giants are built to make billionaires richer, then they are having this outsized influence on policy, and they're not paying any tax, and they're pushing our politics in more of a tax-free individualist direction, which is not helping the planet heal and recover, and not helping create more opportunities for the people that are born with the least opportunities. So, hard problem to solve. But one thing that I see when I look at the causes that lead to this situation, one thing I see is that there are lots and lots and lots of brilliant, diverse people with great ideas, but it's really, really hard to get a new idea off the ground. It's really, really hard to scale a good idea. It's really, really hard to start a new thing. You feel like you have to do it on your own, which is very, very difficult. You feel like you need expertise from family or from professionals that you can't afford in order to start a business, and the barriers are just so high. The knowledge around finance and around technology that you need today to grow any business have traditionally been held by university educated men, and it's only super recently that anyone outside that group has started trying to grow and scale impact ideas. But yeah, we're in a time now where it's possible. We're in a time now where we can use AI tools to prototype a new idea, get it up live on a website, and start getting subscribers or getting supporters, or using social media or using TikTok or using Instagram. And these platforms are dominated by women in business. If you look at who's running successful businesses on those platforms, it's largely people that haven't had access to that kind of capability of launching and growing ideas before. And they're so good at it. They're doing amazing things on those platforms. So while it's a really scary time, it's also a really exciting time where if we get our resources together and we focus on some goals, like taking down companies that don't have ethical imperatives, taking down companies that just want to make billionaires richer, and replacing them with companies that among their jobs is also improving lives, improving people's lives. Wouldn't that be a great business outcome? Not having a negative impact on the planet, or even having a positive impact on the planet, creating opportunities for people that aren't born with many opportunities, enabling the pursuit of happiness for more people. That's something that I think technology can help with, especially since the launch of AI, the publication of AI. So I quit my job and started Launchbot months after ChatGPT was first released. It was just such a game changer for me in marketing to realize that most of my work, which requires a human voice and perspective and complex collaboration of data, could now be done automatically, meant that it didn't have to cost people so much anymore. So my services were always too expensive for the companies that I wanted to help the most and the charities and the organizations I wanted to help the most. Suddenly, like light bulb moment, with AI, I could make it cheap enough, $10 a month, for all of these amazing impact organizations to use these services as a tool. And that's important because I've only ever worked for companies that don't have much marketing budget. They're really small budgets, and companies that want to make a really big impact, like doing really amazing things. So throughout my career, my years and years and years of doing this, I've developed these really unique ways of working with data, information, and social media as in a chain to bring the cost of growing your reach and impact all the way down. So in general, my ads run for 14% of the business average, the benchmarks. So what that means is for the average person spending $250 to get a click to their website, so to get 100 clicks to their website, it would cost me $14. Like the difference is staggering for a business. And no, that makes sense. For the average person who spends $250 to get 100 clicks to their website, and maybe one of those people signs up, it would cost me $44. And if your product is $50, then maybe you're making $6 on the side there and using my way, and you're just losing $200 going the normal way. And that's how most people find digital ads, and they get scared off and frightened because it just feels like Facebook's trying to suck their wallets dry, and it is. So you have to know a lot about the infrastructure of how the algorithms are working to try and get money off you, and you have to game them and be smarter than them, and use these data sets that are already available but are too complicated for the average person to use. But when you combine all that together into one system, suddenly you've got this effective system that means you can reach anyone, almost anyone around the entire globe. Like 1 in 2 people checking Facebook a month on their phones. And that's just a scale of impact that we didn't have 30 years ago. That's just mind-blowing that my app could be popular in Kenya, and I could just be running ads from here. It's such a cool time to be trying to make an impact, to be trying to do something great, and to be trying to collaborate with people all around the world, because we can suddenly reach people and communicate with people that we couldn't before. So with Launchbot, I guess what I'm trying to do is to develop a set of tools that take advantage of this new technology to grow impact, because I think we need to do that to save the world, not to be too dramatic, to get out of our current predicament, and also acknowledging and confronting and dealing face to face with the ethical implications of using this new technology, because it is not comfortable and it is not clean cut, and a lot of this new technology is doing a huge amount of damage. So at the moment, I'm trying to help people understand the trade-offs. Like if you want to grow really fast, you for low budget, then you probably need social media, and that means you'll be having this carbon impact. Maybe you want to plant a few trees. Or if you don't want to use AI at all, fully support that, that's great. But maybe you won't gain these other benefits of growth, or of being able to lower your costs of growth. So helping people be aware of their ethical framework and what considerations they need to take into account in order to achieve their goals of scale of impact. And not all good ideas need to scale. Some of the best ideas are small, community-based, and stay small. That's their value. But for ones that more people would benefit by them growing, that's what I'm here to support. So we've started with a few tools. We've got growth strategy. We've got getting found on search engines and AI results. That tool's working amazingly well. People are getting to the front page of search in 3 weeks. We've got a post generator to help people get started posting on social media, because that is a huge blocker for impact people who just hate the feeling of using social media networks, which I get, but just trying to get one of those barriers out of the way so that their movement can grow. And now we've got the ethical framework to help people decide on their values. And coming up soon, we'll be linking all those things together to bring down your cost of growth. And I'm really excited for that, because that's going to potentially change the world. Yeah, that's the idea. Let me know what you think. I also, having worked for so many charities and nonprofits, Beyond Violence, Just Speak, volunteer-led organisations, I've also seen how bad rates of burnout are amongst people working in impact and sustainability and climate. And I think that's something that's really shooting us in the foot around trying to make an impact, is that we expect too much of people. We expect them to give and give and give and give, and then they inevitably, definitely, certainly burn out. Like it's a definite equation when you're running a volunteer organisation. Like they're going to last this long, and then we need more people. And it's not healthy, and it's not sustainable, and it doesn't allow us to have that knowledge be passed on. It doesn't allow us to grow. So one of my principles just has always been to try and pay people doing impact, to try and make sure that the idea is making enough income to be sustainable, to be able to pay its staff sufficiently to take breaks and have weekends off and things like that. And traditionally that funding's come from government agencies. Obviously it's not a good time to be relying on government funding in New Zealand or around the world, so people are coming up with creative alternatives. And yeah, part of our philosophy at Launchbot is to try and help people get the income they need to run a sustainable initiative that can survive beyond the first burst of enthusiasm by getting revenue in the door. And it's an unattractive conversation. People don't want to talk about it in the impact space, the fact that we need money to survive, but we live in a world that requires us to eat and sleep, and we have to spend money to do both those things, and that's another problem to solve. But yeah, one of our values is to help people make the income to make them really love doing the impact work, like what we were talking about at dinner. Make impact fun, making a difference joyful, make it a dance party, and we'll get more people doing it. And I think to do that we need to nip this burnout problem in the bud by getting enough resources in the door.